Yeah, I've got a, you know, whatever, Ninja 1000. Yeah, I've got that. I don't ride it. It scares the fuck out of me, but I've got it. Oh, no, I ain't bringing it out today. My leg's hurting. Your fucking leg ain't hurting. You're scared to death of the bike. Why'd you buy it? What's up, everybody? Moto Jimbo here. How the heck are you today? It is a beautiful day out here in Virginia. I come up by the park here just to soak it up for a minute. There's the beautiful Ninja. Love that bike. I figured today's subject, I tried to film it last week actually and realized after I stopped that my camera had not been recording the entire time. But look at that. I'm sorry, I just keep walking around it. I love that bike. Yeah, tried to film this last week, didn't work out. Tips on buying your first motorcycle. You're chomping at the bit, you're ready to go buy one. Tip number one, don't fall in love with a bike before you go look at it, because you will look over things that normally would throw you away from the bike, because you're already in love, and that's a bad way to do business. So yeah, just don't fall in love before you go look at it. Number two, I'll put my visor down so you can hear me. That wind's blowing pretty good. Don't buy some vintage Yamaha, whatever, 1985 Maxim, because chances are that thing has been sitting in somebody's shed for about 20 years and hasn't been looked at. And they got the wild idea, I'm going to sell that son of a bitch on Craigslist. And it needs tires, it needs a chain, or it's just completely wore the hell out and will be a waste of your time and money. Just because something's cheap doesn't mean you should buy it. If it's $500 but it needs new tires, new chain, new oil, new everything, it's going to end up costing you about $1,500 anyways. So just buy a bike that's halfway decent to begin with. That's my advice. And some of those older bikes, rare does not equate valuable. Rare can equate a pain in the ass to find parts for if something does break down. And old bikes, gaskets get old, they start getting brittle, they break, they tear. So yeah, just keep that in mind, you guys. Just because it looks good on the outside doesn't mean it's good on the inside. Innuendos. Hopefully this bus won't pull out in front of me, because those drivers of those buses are fucking crazy. Pardon my French. Those guys have pulled out in front of me so many times, and while I'm driving the car too. They just seem not to give a fuck if somebody's coming right at them. But yeah, old bikes, guys, unless it's just all the money you have, I wouldn't buy one. And like I said, because you can end up spending so much more than what you first pay for them, and you could have just bought a good bike. I'm gonna cut down this way. Yeah, just because a bike's cheap, you know, don't just get sucked in. Now, I know a lot of you first-time buyers out there aren't gonna have a lot of money, so I am keeping that in mind. I thought that was a statue. That's a real dog. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, if you only have $1,000, you can't buy a bike. That's not true. I bought my first Ninja for $900. I ended up having to put a rear tire on it, so it cost a little bit more than that, but it wasn't so bad I had to buy it right away. So you can find bikes for under $1,000. You just have to look, and it might take you a while because you're going to have to pick through a lot of garbage first. Just, you know, plan it out, look at everything you can. Don't, you know, look over things. If you can negotiate well, when you see things wrong with the bike, bring that up at the end of the conversation if you're still interested. Be like, well, I'm going to have to change these tires out to be safe, so, you know, would you take this much? Don't be a dick about it. Be like, oh, these damn tires are shit. What the fuck you been doing with this bike? You know, be strategic about it. You know. But yeah, tip number whatever we're on, I don't even remember anymore. Don't buy some crazy sport bike or some $15,000 Harley as your first bike. The first one, because you're probably going to get hurt. And I'm not saying everybody that buys a big sport bike always ends up dead, but a good portion of them end up hurt and never ride again because they had a horrible wreck or experience, or got scared so bad they decided never to ride again. So you're shooting your passion down before you even get started sometimes doing that stuff. And the expensive Harley, you'll be afraid to breathe on it because you might scratch it, or you might get a little snot on it. You know, personally, I never wanted an immaculate bike. I always wanted a bike with some age on it, or at least some scuffs on it, because I didn't want to be the first person to do it. Yeah, I mean, I just don't recommend it. Even at my fourth bike at this point, I don't want a perfect bike. This doesn't appeal to me. I don't know, maybe I'm wired different than some people, but that's just me. I mean, I could have went out and bought a perfect looking bike. And my SV650 was pretty damn near, you know, spotless. And I put a scratch on it, and I just ate me up for some reason. Like, oh, damn, I scratched the bike. Oh, damn. And I was so upset about it. But, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that either, but that's just me. There's a ton of big-ass cruisers, flashy chrome, and all they do is sit in the garage. There's a guy near me that has a big Harley, and it sits in a shed and never gets ridden. He gets it out maybe once a month, cranks it up, and listens to it run, and runs it up and down the street and puts it back in the shed. That's just sad. To me anyways, but I guess if that's what you like, that's what you like. Things to look at when you finally go look at the bike that you know, been looking at on Craigslist or whatever. Things to look out for. Look at the tires. If they, on the sides, if they have cracks in them, they're dry rotted, that means the bike's been sitting there forever. And that doesn't necessarily make me not buy a bike, but I factor it into my cost, and I'll negotiate the price accordingly, and you should too. Look at the chain. If it's rusty, it's been sitting a while, you can clean it up and oil it, but I wouldn't trust my life to it. Bad chain can give you a real bad time. So you probably want to replace that. Check the oil. If it's low on oil sitting there, chances are that it was run low on oil, and that's real bad. Now if the oil's just a little dirty, like it needs to be changed, that doesn't make me go away. That just probably means somebody decided to sell it and just didn't get around to changing the oil before they decided to do that. When I sold my SV though, I did change the oil before I sold it, because I wanted people to know that it was cared for. But not everybody operates that way, and I understand that. So just make sure that it's topped up with oil. Make sure that it's got milk in it. Make sure that the oil is not milky looking. Make sure, you know, it doesn't have any garbage in it, and, you know, make sure it doesn't smell like gas and all that shit, obviously. Check around the head, make sure there's no oil leaks. If you see where the bike was parked, see if there's any spots under it. And if there are, ask them about it, which brings me into my next tip. If you ask people questions and they seem standoffish, or like they don't want to answer any questions you have, chances are you probably want to go to a different bike, because they're either hiding something, or they just literally don't give a shit about the bike, and it's probably not been taken care of at all. So I steer away. I've walked away from bikes like that before, just because the people were just standoffish. And if nothing else, it just makes for a bad experience, and I don't really care for those. But yeah, guys, I guess the biggest tip I can give you is be smart about everything you do when it comes to purchasing a bike, because you don't want to end up wrenching on a bike when everybody else is out riding, especially on your first bike. You want to be out here riding with all of us, and we want you out here with us. The more the merrier. Let our community grow. yeah, it's frustrating if you just want to ride and you have to work on a bike instead, and that's going to happen no matter what. But try to buy a bike where it's not going to happen the second day you try to take it out. This reminds me of a story last year. This guy passed me while I was waiting to pull out, and he went by on a bike and it was backfiring, jerking, about to throw him off. And he pulled over up the way and at a gas station, and you could just see the frustration in this guy's eyes. Like, you know, the guy had just bought this bike, and he's shaking his head and he's really mad, and you know he's just got taken for a ride by somebody. Don't let that be you. That really sucks. You know, be cautious. Just don't throw your money at people. It's your money. There's tons of bikes out there for sale. Just because you see that green Ninja 250 and you're in love doesn't mean you have to buy that green Ninja 250. There'll be another green Ninja 250. Just wait. Make sure it's the right one. If you feel weird about buying it, don't buy it. Do not buy it, guys. Yeah, just be smart in everything you do when it comes to buying a bike. Because, you know, you are investing a lot of money. Now, I don't know what constitutes a lot of money to some people, but, you know, $1,000, I don't think that's anything to shake a damn stick at. And that's just me. But, you know, if I'm going to go spend $1,000 on a bike, it's not going to be perfect, but I want to make sure I'm not going to have a blown up bike in about 100 miles. That's just me. So guys, just be smart. Play it safe, play it cool. Don't get ahead of yourself. Buy something that's going to last you at least long enough to be your learner. Preferably longer. Oh, look at that cute little bike. It's cute. It's cute. I love little dirt bikes like that. I'll ride the hell out of that. I don't care if I do look like an idiot. But it's about having fun out here, you guys. And if the bike puts a smile on your face, then what's better than that? But you guys, ride safe. And all you guys out there, it's getting warm, that are looking for a bike, I hope you find the perfect bike. I hope you have a blast on it. I hope you're safe. But that's all I've got, you guys. I'm out. I got a CBR 1000 blazing Crossfire. It hurts me.